This is a
Good time, Charlie?
production. Shit, bro, I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't even remember how we opened this bad boy. So welcome back to it. It's So Chef. It's episode 3. It's been a minute. Okay. It's a lot. It's been summer. I had a whole nother show I had to do that end up taking some turns on this very well. If you're listening to this, then I would assume you have listened to our episodes of Creme Patissier. It's a great British Bake Off podcast, but we talked about the Great American Baking Show this last season, and we had almost all the chefs from that damn sirloin.
Yeah, that shit was amazing.
Who knew?
Now
Which
that
mean-
you really had the glow up this season.
I guess so, man. I got to get a hold of the guy who runs reality TV at Netflix. I actually have his name. I got that from the people who produce
Okay.
the Bake Off, but they didn't give me the direct email, and that becomes more of a challenge than I think they understood.
Yeah. You're like, that's good and all.
Like I
thanks
have
for-
his name,
You gave me
Thanks.
one breadcrumb. I need a trail.
but if I can get his email address before the season starts, hopefully I can get him to set me up with a press kit and stuff like that there, so we can keep it running.
Nice.
But on this show, we discuss FX's and Hulu's, for that matter, The Bear.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, we're talking about episodes 5 and 6 this go around. Episode 5 is titled Sheridan. It's written by Karen Joseph Adcock, who wrote on Yellowstone and Swarm and Atlanta, and We Baby Bears and How I Met Your Father. So this writer has some experience here. Directed by Joanna Callow, who, if you recall, I told you last time we talked about her, a great director, mostly a producer, but a hell of a Doughboys guest.
Mm-hmm.
Your basic overall look of this episode is the universe was conspiring to keep the bear closed that day. I just want you to know that. Just keep your heart on that. But we get some Sid lore, and Carmi and Sugar finally got to kind of set it off, and because they've been mad. So let's get to it. I got a full recap for you here. My man Chaffee will jump in whenever to tell me to stop talking so he can talk. So
Yeah. I'll jump in. I'll jump in when it's time.
But this ep opens with Sid waking up in what is clearly her childhood bed. But I'm saying they the way they shoot it, she's visualizing food and recipes. Because if nothing else, Sid is a chef.
Yes.
And like probably just to her core. And I kind of really like that about her as a character. We see a medicine cabinet chock full of prescription bottles. But you get this long hold on the one Sid is taking. And so, of course, I went and looked it up. It's lansoprazole, which you may know as Prevacid. Sid has a tummy issue.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's cheaper to buy it sometimes it's cheaper to buy a prescription than it is to buy it OTC. The insurance be covering stuff. So it's taken to reduce stomach acid for peptic ulcers and for acid reflux.
Yeah, I'm sure she's given herself, being based on the type of character she is, a full-blown ulcer or two.
For sure. There's a stack of boxes in Sid's room labeled Sheridan Road Catering. And now we know why the episode is titled as such. Now, I watch people recap these shows all the time, and they'll be sitting there like, I wonder what Sheridan means. I'm like, they literally showed you in the opening
right there.
scene.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They don't be watching like I watch, like we
But
watch
you know what?
here.
I think that's also a portion of the beauty of the bear is that, yes, there's a lot of symbolism in here, a lot, but there's also stuff in there that's like, it's right here. You just have to see it. Like that's for you to see. If you didn't see it, you didn't see it. And it's all those little subtleties along the way, because it's not like in your face. It's just, oh shit, there it is. And now that's a little bit for you. This opening also is like the contrast to Carmi waking up. where
Yeah.
he wakes up to the fire, she's waking up to. I think there's flames in this as well, no? Because isn't it like cooking dishes?
Yeah,
But
but
but it's from a different perspective.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so we see how like this is sort of like one person's distress is another person's eustress. Stress can either break you down or motivate you. And
Yeah.
so she's out here taking notes and getting ready to fight the new day.
Yeah.
Whereas for someone else, it can be like, I do not want to do this anymore.
Facts. As this opening scene takes place, all of it's interspersed with these gorgeous shots of Chicago. I love it. I love this show because of how they shoot around town in that
Hmm.
city, and it's lovely. Sid is headed into work. Man, hops the train, and when she gets to the bear, Carmi's already busy at work, and he turns to Sid basically like, "Hey, man, we need a new dinner menu,"
Hmm.
and she's of course in agreement because she knows. Remember, if you recall, Sid has already told this dude we probably should be closed between here and here. Saying work lunch hours, work dinner hours, but not the entire time open. So of
Yeah.
course she already on this shit. Uh, oh my god, I forgot about this. See, look at again. Told you we out of shape because it's been a hot second. There's this noise off in the bathroom in the restaurant, and Carmi's like, "What the hell is that?" So he gets up, he goes into the bathroom, and he's looking at the toilet. Don't ever stand over a toilet, y'all.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it's
He's he
if it's
is
making
face
noise,
he looking face into it. Mm-mm.
bruh, that toilet exploded with the force.
Yes. It was cartoonish.
Gross is what it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's all
Because that restaurant, that bathroom looks like it's out of a gas station. Like, it's rugged. So it's like, oh man, you need to go get like a hepatitis shot or something. Like,
bro, you might have what is it? I said there's we have a this billboard in town off the highway, and it's always about some STD. And this time it's this right now, unless they've changed it because it's almost a new month. It's about ocular chlamydia or gonorrhea
yeah.
or something.
Yeah. Oh,
And
he
I'm
got
like,
it. He got double pink eye.
sir, please go get that taken care of.
They're like, oh
So
man, you're hella freaky. He's like, no, I just looked in the toilet. They're like, yeah, that'll do it too.
so of course this is like our first part where we're like, damn, y'all is really the beef maybe have to close today. So Sid's
Hmm.
like, okay, we'll just close for lunch. He's like, we cannot. So we're
Yeah.
gonna get it cleaned up, and I'm gonna call Fack in here. He's gonna look at this toilet, and we're gonna keep it moving. And that's wild to me. But they can't those tight, you know what I'm saying? So they can't possibly miss a service, which is the like I said, wild sad because that's
Yeah.
how poor that
Because
restaurant is.
they are in like the most dire of circumstances. They can't, it's like they almost can't afford to be open and they can't afford to be closed. Either way is like fucking them over.
Yeah.
And then when they have these situations where it's like new problem, toilet blows up. Like it's just this continuation of events where it's like you're being tested every day in some way.
Yeah. Uh, so he gets Manny and Angel to basically do the clean. Manny and Angel are the dishwashers. If you don't know all your characters on the show yet, and he basically says, "Hey, get this cleaned up. Facts on his way. I got other business to take care of, which is of course working on that dinner menu he was just talking to Sid about." So he's teaching the restaurant how to make his mom's, if you recall, that lemon chicken piccata. He wrote the name down when he was talking to his sister on the phone because she was like, "What are you making? Mom's chicken." He's like, "Oh, okay." And oh yeah, I wrote that in my notes. Your boy got good notes. I didn't even realize I wrote that in my notes. This is all we over here freestyling, but there it is in my notes. That's dope. So he's cooking this right, and of course, like if you watch it, he's describing it being cooked better than it actually is cooked in the episode.
Mhm.
He's like, "Oh yeah, saying you want that to brown?" I'm like, "Bro, that's not brown." But I know what you're saying
Yes.
because it's TV. So you know what I'm saying. Like you want that to cook down and brown and this, that, and the third.
Yeah, because what did he say? He's like, okay, you see these edges? You see how brown they are? He's like,
I'm
you
like,
want the whole tray to be like that. And I'm like, that's
no, see, no, you're thinking of the potatoes.
oh,
This
you're right,
one,
you're right, you're right.
this my man on the stove mixing up that butter and
Yes, 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 yes. You're right, you're right, you're right.
is it? What is it? It is
'Cause he's
capers.
making, yeah,
Capers. Yeah.
yeah.
And either way, whatever. He lets Tina taste it, and the look on her face. That's a hell of an actress, bro. But also,
Hmm.
it might just been tasting good because they do actually sometimes eat the food they're working on the
Hmm.
show. It's a fun thing. Again, you learn if you listen to that episode of Doughboys with Joanna Callow. Just saying. And like I said, it is literally it's one of my favorite bits of acting from her this season because she's sitting there like she about to nut from eating this damn delicious chicken sauce, and
Oh
I'm like,
yeah.
God damn, Tina,
Uh-huh.
you wilding girl.
Now, while all this is happening, because it's like Richie just he comes in, he's the disruptor of the
Always,
moment,
yeah.
and he just comes in with the line. So when he comes in with "What's up, replicants?" It's like, who's making Blade Runner references? Like, what? What are you doing, man? And but it goes to show that like as we go through this episode and the next episode, we see that Richie has not progressed. Like he wants the restaurant to stay the same. He wants his life to stay the same. And unfortunately, his personal life has moved on past him. His work life is currently moving on past him. He's he's that guy that's like my best days were when I was a quarterback in high school.
Yeah.
And it's like, sorry, man, like if young people today are watching this, they're being like, what is he talking about? You know, this is, listen, old man, no one's saying what's up replicants. You have to know what Blade Runner is.
Yeah. Like here's probably at that point, if you thought on it, Carmi's gonna know that reference,
Uh-huh.
and that's about it.
That's about it. That's a really fact. Maybe fact will know.
Well, yeah, of course they probably because they're all
Because
buddies
they're
and
all
stuff like
friends.
that. But of course, facts not yeah. So it's
Yeah,
like yeah, that's about it. It's so basically the white boy's gonna get the reference.
right. But
I'm gonna be real with you.
yeah, true, true, true. But in that moment too, like, as we're talking about the dish and the browning, whatever, like we're watching Carmi
In his
host a
element,
master class.
in his
Like,
element, yeah,
yes, this is where he is like, he is the ultimate DJ. Like, he is mixing, it's flawless. He's got a vibe going on, and he is like, he's holding court,
yeah,
like, they aren't just passively looking at him like, man, this motherfucker's just fucking whisking away. They are like, oh, my man's doing shit, like
yeah.
they're into his performance. And it's like, it really goes to show the difference between like a true chef and like a line cook. Not disrespecting any line cooks at all,
Facts,
but
facts.
it's like it's the art and the artist versus like the person who just does the process,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. And like you said, what I wrote down here was of that you can see how taken aback they all are by this, especially Tina because she's tasting it.
Hmm.
Because surprise, surprise, Karma can cook his ass off. He
Hmm.
just can, and you
Yeah.
got to respect it, man. And it's like that's just I love the dopeness of that. So of course Richie shows him on the scene. He goes to see what the fact in the toilet is going on, and
So
he
dumb.
he get behind him. And he's basically trying to pretend to fuck or pretending to fuck fact. In fact, like
Yeah.
yo, bro, you got to chill with that. And so that's he says it in a way that is so Canadian that I laughed at what's his name
Maddie?
Maddie Matheson because I'm like, bro, you couldn't hide that at all. That's a human relations offense. I'm like, that's not how we say that down here, bro. So
No, no, no. And it's like, Fak is out there. Fak right now is just a human cartoon, like he's just there. He's lovable. He's a mess. He just looks like a walking disaster, but a
yeah.
heart of gold, you know? And then you just have Richie just humping him. And it's like, how does like fixing a toilet while some guy's trying to hump you turn into a job interview? Like their relationship is weird.
Ken, look, I'm gonna be real with you, and y'all, and you people will check me if I'm wrong, but I know I'm not wrong here. That's some white boy shit again,
Yes, yeah.
because
Hmm.
we don't do that.
No, no, no.
And in fact, it will probably lead to violence far quicker than it did in this situation.
Yeah. I
Like,
remember
bro,
having to explain that to my son once where we were out at this like one like kind of pool party thing and all the dads were running around smacking each other on the dicks and my son goes, "Why aren't they hitting you? Why are they hitting each other?" And I was like, "One, that's what white boys do. Two, they know they do that to me, they get slapped." Like it's just open hand to the face. Like it is what it is.
I have never understood the appeal, I guess is what I'm going to
Yeah.
word that and leave it there.
And this is not some homophobic shit either. Like, no,
it's
it's a cultural thing.
it is. That is definitely what it is. That's definitely a cultural thing. Let's let that one be for. We'll let that sleeping
Yeah,
dog.
we're gonna sidestep back on track now. Maybe we might have to edit that.
Hey, that's real, and I want y'all to know it because it's gonna be white boys listening to this, and they're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, they're right. We do be smacking each other in the dick for some
Yeah,
reason."
we do. I don't know
I want you
why.
to know the
Uh,
people of color don't do that joke.
yeah. No. No. We'll have
Mark,
you will hear some bass in someone's voice real fast. Hey.
don't play that.
Don't make me tell you again.
Oh my God! Yeah, if you get a one time, you know, what I'm saying a one time pass, like okay, don't do that. Then you've lucked up because that's not normally how it would go.
Yeah, no, zero.
Fuck your whole life up real fast, like
Yeah.
my guy. Marcus is of course hyper fixated on this donut situation. Cannot break himself and cannot shake himself of it. And why did I write this? Marcus still focused on his donut and what we know is foreshadowing for things to come. Huh? Why did I write that?
Because
fair enough.
As you look forward, like like in future episodes, this really becomes a moment of pain and joy as the season goes on. His homeboy Chester is there, and he's like, "Hey, we got to go to Copenhagen and fuck that shit up." And it's like, "What, Chester?" And I put in my notes, like, he's the baka of the group. Like, why are you around?
He doesn't have a weird case, but it is a why are you around?
Like, he says weird things where it's like
he does, but again,
in the last episode he says something weird too, and it's like, why are you here?
even Chester becomes a bit of a foreshadowing for thing. Now I consider what the fuck I wrote down when I wrote this down forever ago.
Yeah.
So, shouts out Mr. White Sox, Minnie Minosa. So Watchcall says this to Sweep says that to Marcus, and so I'm like, what does that even mean? This was one of the things where it's like clearly this is like some Chicago history or whatever. So I went and found out for you. So Minnie Minosa, aka Saturnino Orestes Mini Armas Arieta Minosa, aka the Cuban Comet, was the first Afro-Latino player in the majors and the first Black player in White Sox history. Ibra, there it is. Ibra calls Marcus the Mini Minosa of fermentation, as Marcus is working on figuring out lactofermentation, which I got you. Is a process by which bacteria breaks down the sugars in food to form lactic acid. What that has to do with a donut, I don't know. I think he's trying to make a filling for the donut, but they don't really break that down for you. But
Well,
Gary,
I think it might even have to do with the density of the dough.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like, is he making like
yeast.
a sourdough, a yeasted dough situation?
Yeah, because that was my thought too. Was like it might be for that, but it also might be for what type of cake he's trying to do. You know?
Yeah.
Because that's when Abram walks up and he sees the rack and it's covered in plastic and it's got fucking tubes and shit. And he's like, what does he tell him? Like, can I go near this?
Gary, who sweeps, knowing all of Minnie Moses' stats off the dome, is of course taking us down a particular path of learning his backstory. You know, so you learn a little bit more because at some point, that Gary Sweeps knows ball. And it's like, okay, why do we need to know that Sweeps knows baseball? Well, you'll find out eventually. We get a mention that Carmi and Sugar's mom may not be the best. And that's a far-reaching setup right there.
Yeah.
So that one you actually don't get a payoff for a while, but you will get a payoff.
Because I believe, isn't that when Carmi says to Tina, like, how was the food? She's like, or he says like was she out of her mind or something like that? She's like, well,
yes,
the food was good.
because she was saying she went to, with Michael to their house for some family meal,
Yeah.
and they asked how was my mom, and yeah. So I like again. So if you watch this episode, of course, it's a great episode. But if
Yeah.
you take it in, you're getting so much set up for things that come down the line
Yeah.
in this season and next.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
good time
This
to be had
this
there.
one really has a lot of like setup,
Yeah.
but it really shows the uh the quality of direction and the quality of writing because
Yes.
it also doesn't feel like just punchlines. Like, what does that mean? What does that mean? You could watch just this episode and just be like, it's a good fucking episode.
Yeah.
But it really shows that like that this is in a sense baking as well. You don't reap the rewards of this process until later in the season. And like you said, next season where it's like, oh, that's fucking delicious. I
Yeah.
didn't know that this was the thing.
Yeah. I dig it. We cut back to Fack and Richie in the bathroom in the restroom, and Fack is basically interviewing for a potential gig at the Beef. He's like, you know, saying I know Carmen's looked down a few chefs. You think I can get a chance to get hired here? And he's trying to explain himself to Richie as to why he thinks he would fit the bill and what kind of experience he has. And Richie just starts fucking with him, and of course that leads to a little bit of play fighting, which then leads to actual fighting.
Yeah.
And
Now, before you get to the punch in this actual fighting, because then they gotta start talking that out a little bit. And fucking what is it? What does Fax say? He's like, he's not nice.
yeah, straight up, which is so stupid. Again, very Canadian. I feel like it's a
Yeah,
very, I think that's a Maddie Matheson kind of like pronunciation situation. He's not nice.
yeah,
And,
yeah. Because
and
he's not nice. He is selling coke. It is so like cute. You know what I mean? It's like a
yeah,
kid. Like he pushed me. You know? And then that's when we see, like, as this whole drama is unfolding, the mixer's mixing.
which leads to an angry fact revealing that Richie is selling coke out the back alley of the Beef.
Mhm.
Marcus, well, hold on. So I'm just to go over that right there. So they're fighting, and Sweeps is standing there, and they go, "You want me to break this up?" And he goes, "No." And they fight and fight and fight. And you want me to break this up? No. And Carmi looks over, like, because you imagine Carmi back in the kitchen looking over a
Yeah,
countertop, looking down at these idiots wrestling back and forth on the floor. And he just reaches back and grabs a cup of water, starts sprinkling
that's
water over,
right.
like, "Hey, Carmi, what are you doing?" It's like, what the fuck is y'all doing?
Yeah,
Y'all acting like he's out of pocket for throwing water, and y'all
yeah,
idiots wrestling around on the floor of his restaurant.
yeah. It's like, wait, I ruined the moment.
Which is, of course, when Fat gets up and says he's not nice and he's selling coke out the back alley of the Beef. And he's like, "What?" And he
Yeah.
goes, "Oh, you're gonna tell mom. You're gonna tell mom."
Yes.
And I was like, "Oh my God, Richie is." A lot of people will tell you, or early on, you'll be like, "Richie's such a dick."
Yeah.
But there's so much more to that, and we'll get to that as we go along here. It's so
Yeah.
much more story to be told there, and I love it for that.
Yeah. Oh, well, like I was
Um,
saying though too, but in that moment as that ha is happening, we're also getting cuts of the mixer. They're having their
yes,
dialogue. It's almost like it's instead of tense music playing to show that the mood is shifting, it's this mixer being annoying.
yeah.
And it's like, fuck, what's gonna happen?
Now we know from I think episode one that mixer is beat to shit, old
Yes.
as like World War II old.
Yes.
Marcus, remember I just told you earlier. So this is where our foreshadowing pays off. So focused on his donut, has forgotten to make the cakes for the day. Marcus, realizing time has gotten away from him, is rushing to get the cakes prepared. So he's like, "Fuck, I'm gonna crank this is our cakes that he is up to this point been hand mixing because that mixer is so trash." But
Mhm.
he's like, "I'm running out of time, so I can get everything in there." So he got the mixer going at high speed. He's throwing ingredients into the mixing bowl, which is an industrial sized mixing bowl. Don't imagine, you will, a KitchenAid to feed an army.
Yeah.
So
Like
really,
to be honest, because I've worked with those type of mixers before, like
same, yeah,
you could fit an adult in those bowls. You
yes,
know, like
yeah,
they're big.
yeah,
And I believe it was one of the first episodes too, where we like I think it was implied or stated that like you can't overwork this mixer.
yeah, because it's just bad.
Yeah,
It doesn't just need to be fixed; it needs to be replaced.
yeah.
ancient.
And so
And
as he's running it, as the viewer, we know like, ah, fuck, you're not paying attention to this mixer.
yeah, then smoke starts rising from the mixer. And we already know. We are, like I said, again, we are aware, and now he's about to be aware. And as the mixture's about to blow, we cut back to Richie. So I'm saying they're cutting to that story. And he's like, I'm not a coke dealer per se. You know what I'm saying? It's just if from time to time, if I'm holding, you know what I'm saying, I will help somebody out. And you know what I'm saying, how you think we made it through the pandemic? You know what I'm saying? We needed side hustles, which is, unless the show specifically takes place during the pandemic, oftentimes no TV has or movies don't really mention it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a big step. Like I feel like this one and Glass Onion are some of the few things that actually just straight up was like COVID was a thing in the world where we are working within. And Carmi and Richie are arguing back and forth, and of course Richie says, "Don't blow a fuse," and like literally just as he does it, the whole restaurant, that mixer, that overworked mixer, can't hold on no more.
No.
Blows the power out of most of the beef, including the walk-in cooler. Which again, if you just watch the show thinking everything's a setup, there's a reason why the cooler had to go down.
Yeah.
And so Carmi was like, okay, go buy me all the ice you can find around town. And I guess he thinks he can do that to, keep the meat and everything else that needs to be cooled down. It's like, sir, you need it's a walk-in cooler.
Yeah, because I think the taller dishwasher, what is his name?
It's either Manny or Angel. I cannot separate the two.
When he's like, I got all the ice in the North River or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it's like one bag. It's like, my man.
Like, sir, did you get all the ice?
No, you didn't. Like, number one, first rule, which is also very amateur. If the power goes out, you do not open the doors. You don't open I was like, you guys are fucking idiots. Why did you do that?
Keeps the code in there.
Keeps the code in there.
Yeah.
And then when Carmi, so now they're pivoting, and I do like the sort of dance that Carmi and the young lady, why is her name escaping me right now? Ayo, what's her name?
Oh, Sid.
Yeah. It goes to show that they are just different from everyone else because they pivot and they know exactly what to do without crumbling. Like their hands aren't in the air. You could see her gears turning. Carmi gets on the phone and hey buddy, I need a call and a favor.
Yeah.
We see who he calls.
I absolutely love this right here because initially playing we're gonna just ice down with us, but then Carmi's like, hold on, I got an idea. Let me make a call. Makes a call. Then who pops on screen? But the homie Pete.
Right.
Pete, of course, is Carmi's brother-in-law.
Who don't love Pete?
Sugar.
Everybody loves Pete.
Bro, if you don't fuck with Pete, I can't fuck with you.
Straight up.
That's the man. And
Pete knows not to hit you in the dick. Pete knows.
That's actually accurate as fuck. People probably have hit Pete in the dick and he was like, I don't fuck with this at all. So he would never.
No. No. He's like, listen, I'm not doing that.
So next thing you know, we're at in Pete's garage and Carmi and Rich, are storing stuff in their chest freezer.
And it's just the three of them. Pete's in the room too, and they're filling the fucking the big freezer in Pete's basement.
Yeah, and all of a sudden Nat appears, and she's like, "What is going on?" And she goes, "Oh, nothing much. Pete's just doing us a favor." And,
he says, "We got his permission," which is like, "Oh no, motherfucker!" Like, you should have called me.
She calls me like, "You're such a soft little shit."
Yes.
Like, God damn.
Like, just, oh man, disrespectful. You are runny.
Yeah, that's wild right there. So that of course gets Carmi and Nat fired up, and so they're arguing back and forth and about Carmi not being present. You know what I'm saying? and only hitting at her when he has an issue and never getting back to her about attending, in quote, the thing, which we know are Al-Anon meetings. But then Carmi Copster says, hold on. I have been attending the thing.
Oh, well, hold on. Let's back up. Because so they're going back and forth and going back and forth, and before he tells her he's been to the thing, that's when she's like pissed. She's like, "Hey, I had a brother who died too."
Yeah, that's in the base. That's before they go off to fight. That's when they're still in the basement or garage.
Who just goes dark.
But then Pete says,
"Yeah,
that was dark." So it's like you get the double down. Like, whoa.
And the fact that like the two arguing didn't even acknowledge them, because in that moment they weren't in the room. But just the way he said it, like, damn, that's the word dark is enough to be like, you're fucked up. Like, it's like, ugh. But yeah, so they have this conversation. They're arguing, they're fighting, and they're just like, they're having it out. Which also gives us some insight into how they dialogue as a family. And because when he says, I've been going to the thing, and she's like, oh, like
you have?
She shifts, and he tells her, oh, I've been going like 3 days a week, and she was like, to the all families, and she's like, yeah. Or he's like, yeah, and it's like you see her anger turn to love and appreciation. And she just gives him like the biggest hug. And what does she say to him? You fight with me tomorrow?
It's so sweet. In there somewhere, Richie's talking to Pete and like, of course you'd be a fucking Cubs fan. You probably don't even know their first baseman. Like Alfonso whoever it is, Alfonso Riviera or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, because Richie don't know who the fucking first baseman of the Cubs is. He's just talking out his ass because he's a White Sox fan.
Yeah. And he just wants to talk shit to Pete. Pete's just like, dude, you're just gonna talk shit to him. But Pete looks at him like, he kind of looks at him like, isn't that common knowledge? Like, why are you asking me?
No, it's common knowledge to a guy like Pete. Richie don't know. Richie pretends to be. He's one of the guys who pretends to know his shit. Bullshit, I'm telling you, man.
But also, Pete's the type of dude who probably still collects cards.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, Natalie wouldn't let him.
No, he has a room. He can only have them on the shelf in his office.
Fair. She tries to keep that shit to a
not in the house.
Spot.
No, not in the house.
But then, of course, you say, well, anyway, we'll get to that later. Where we at?
So they've hit a common ground. She's happy. She gives him a hug. Yeah. Like, they're good.
So we flip back to the beef, and at the beef, they realize with the power out, they have no space for stuff. They're like, man, where are we gonna put the stuff at? So Sid takes control, starts directing traffic to find out, in addition to the power being out, the gas is out. Because Tina goes to fire the oven up and she's like, starts flipping it in Spanish. I don't know what she said in Spanish. I'm going to assume she just said the gas is out in Spanish.
I think if I can't remember exactly what she said, but something like that, like the fucking gas is out.
Yeah. And it's so, again, like Charles was just saying earlier, like I said, Sid and Carmi can pivot on a dime. And of course, Sid immediately is like, they still building across the street? Like, yeah, what's up? All right, go get me this. She just rattles off a list because she needs what she needs from the construction site across the street. Flashback to the parking lot of the beef, or I guess at the side of the beef or whatever.
Yeah.
Boom! They done made a whole wood-fired oven out of rebar, bricks, and basically pallets.
But with that too, as this is to show that even the more complexity of it. Not only is she planning to turn into an outdoor service, she is also telling them to fucking start, like, to get ready to, like, prep everything for, like, stocks and everything out there, like, because it's going to go bad. So let's not lose because all of these products are profit and we cannot lose them. So it's like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you see how they move where they didn't skip a beat. They didn't freak out. They're not there crying. They're just like, okay,
let's cook.
Yeah, let's do it.
And so basically Sid sets up lunch service in the parking lot with no power. So I'm like, Ayo, well, she won an Emmy for the season. So I'm like,
Yeah.
she's such a good actress, and so you just really feel Sid like, all right, let me handle business. But then again, that's another step. Whenever I realize, oh, she know what the fuck she talking about.
Yeah.
She's earned her place in this restaurant, and we might want to put a little more respect on her name.
Yeah. And this is also those moments too where like we see in the next episode, one of the characters has a breakdown, but it's moments like this where when Sid steps up, she is also earning respect
Yeah,
because they're like, You took care of us. You got us."
because they know what it is. They living on the edge here. You know what I'm saying? They got. I
Hmm.
think Carmi has what is described with is a 2 week parachute. So basically, some shit goes sideways. They can make it about a couple more weeks without losing the whole damn thing. But
Everything.
yeah, yeah. Uh, Carmi finds Marcus in the alley, kind of hiding off in the cut somewhere, because of course Marcus thinks this is all his fault.
Yeah.
And it's like we're flashing back and forth. So then we bounce back into the beef, and no, that's not right. That's not right. I wrote it down like that, but that's not what happened.
No, so they're sitting outside
Yeah, they have a little
Carmi
cipher.
and Marcus have a little bit of a conversation, and like in my
Yeah,
notes I put like Marcus had a little bit of an Icarus moment in that like he just got a little too close to the sun.
facts.
He
Yeah,
wasn't there yet. He's not ready. And so he got burned.
yeah.
And
And Carmi, the way Carmi, like, I don't know, soothes him, I guess is a
yeah,
way I guess I want to word that, is like it's very interesting to see Carmi. Of course, Carmi goes off on Richie. Carmi goes off on Nat for that reason.
yeah.
Well, Marcus, just a gentler touch, just a gentler hand
Hmm.
for now.
For now,
And
yeah.
and I like that he goes, bruh, you gonna fuck up, and it's not because you're a bad person. It's just because
Yeah.
we fuck up. It's what it
Yeah.
is to
Because
be a part of.
he really hit him with shit happens.
Yeah. So he's
And
like, you want to
he
be back
pulled
here?
him out of that headspace too, where it was like, because was he gives him something to the effect of like this is setback, but you need to step up. So
Yeah.
you gotta step up, or like, what are you gonna do? But they
Yeah.
talked about working at McDonald's and how McDonald's basically had no art. It
Yeah.
was just machines, machines, machines. Whereas this is gonna have some subtleties to it, but when shit happens, shit happens. Like, don't let it fucking like ruin your life.
Yeah.
And then I think that's when they kind of go back out and they're serving up their sandwiches. And at one point, this is where we get to the point where they're now negotiating with Rishi
Yeah. We
because
flash we flash back to the beef on this one, and they are discussing with facts. Fact admits that he doesn't have a connect on a
yeah,
condenser, because earlier in the episode he told Carmi, I think I got a connect on a condenser.
yeah, just a couple thousand comes out to be 5,500, and he absolutely does not have a connect.
So of course they're like, what can we do? And we all know what you can do.
Yeah, because Fack is like leaning his head over. He's like, eh. So they basically they get Richie for one last heist job, you know?
For sure, for sure. And they know they need this quick bread, so they turn to Richie, and he's like, look, one last time, okay? And he goes, interesting you come to me at a time like this. Okay. But he has to say Mate.
Yeah.
Because they were fighting. He wanted Richie to say, I mean, he wanted Fact to say Mate. He wanted him to surrender basically in the fight, and he wouldn't. And he's
Yeah.
like, he like say, I'll go get some more coke and move some more coke so we can get this $5,000.
Uh-huh.
Jesus Christ, must be like what, half a brick? I don't know how much coke costs anymore.
Right,
So
seriously. Yeah. But he was out here like some Pusha T raps, like, I got
for
this.
real, for real. It was like the fact that you can go get enough coke to then make $5,000. I don't know how much coke sells for.
Because he
Don't really
didn't
have a good
say
idea.
and that was something that really showed the like the edge or the street wiseness that Richie has, because he didn't balk at it. He wasn't like, you wanted to make how much?
Nah,
He was
he was
like,
just like,
okay,
yeah,
like sure. Like
if
it was as if they said, can you get us a 6-pack of Coca-Colas? Yeah, sure. No. No,
bruh.
where do you want me to get this? How do you expect me to sell it? What the fuck? He was like, yeah, okay. As long as he says Mate.
That's exactly it. If he says Mate, he's like, and come on, Fact. In fact, just does not want to do it. And I get why. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to surrender to that bullshit because it's like surrendering to a bully because that's really what it comes down to. It's like, fine, Mate.
He just want to give him the satisfaction. But
that's exactly what it was.
Too.
Yeah. It's like, fuck you, man. You know I ain't trying to Mate, but.
Yeah.
And Richie goes, your wish is my command, and turns away. And then right when he does, the lights turn back on in the beef.
Yeah.
So, hey. I don't know if
did he not need to sell coke? Because the power.
No. That's the lights. The condenser's still fucked.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
So
yeah, they need the condenser. The condenser's still fucked. That is true.
Yeah.
Yes.
We pop back outside. Sid tells Carmi. Oh no. Sid comes in and tells Carmi how cooking outside reminded her of catering.
Yeah.
And explains to him basically, this is where we get our Sid lore. Why her catering business didn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
And
because she had a flash moment too, where when they were grilling outside, she had a flash moment of looked like they were grilling some prawns as well.
Mm-hmm. Prawns, really? Getting real Australian on these fools?
I'm not pretty sure they were prawns, man. They ain't looking no crawdads.
We just ain't gonna say shrimp like everybody else. Yeah, prawns, sir.
These are bigger than scrimps.
Fancy motherfucker over here. These are prawns.
Hey, they could have been langoustines, as all I know.
Malicious. Don't fall for the fake lobster that is langoustine, which is basically just a bigger shrimp. Don't sleep. It's not the same kind of meat. It's not going to taste the same.
Actually, just to clarify and re-educate my mans over here, it is neither a lobster nor a shrimp. It is its own
sea creature.
Yes, sea roach. Still a sea roach, though. I mean, and when I say sea roach, I ain't talking crip roach, just of the ocean.
They then cut to Marcus, who is at this point he really did take a lesson from this one. So you see him prepping for how to make cakes, individually putting ingredients together. You cutting the tape, because I was supposed to say Charlie. Carmi was like, don't tear this shit, cut this shit so the edges look nice. And so you're saying a lesson has been learned by Marcus, a lesson that. Well, again, foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Okay, so of course you don't want to fall about it. And then, like I said, they wrap up the day. We go home with Sid, who's laying in bed, and she thinks, and she just still recipes pop in her head. So she laid down, got comfortable, and then she immediately sat up, grabbed her little book. You always see Sid walking around with this little book and pencil, and she writes down an idea for cola braised short rib that will come back to haunt you. Okay, you remember that cola braised short rib, okay?
And it'll come back real quick.
It's a specter over this damn show.
Yeah, just sitting there. And as I wanted to tap back into the conversation she had with Carmi too, because though it was a reflective conversation, it also seemed like there was a little bit of a somber note in there too. Like on one hand, yeah, we got that shit done today, but on the other hand, there's a reason why I don't do that anymore. So I think it just brought back some bad memories. She talked about she's like, I fucked up my credit and this and that. So it just I think it was bittersweet. She really knocked it out of the park. And like I said, it probably earned a ton of respect that day. But in the contrast, she gave a bit of herself up too, because it was oh fuck, I'm back where I was. But so that in a nutshell is recapping episode 5. And so we do have our closing component, which is our at the prep station. Now, in this episode, the big highlight was the outdoor service. So I want to just talk about real quick magical street food. Now, you being in Ohio, I don't know what that's like because you have seasons. So I don't know if it's more of a farmer's market vibe or if it's some food trucks here and there. But have you had some delicious street food? What's
lots? We got just like I'm sure food trucks are big out there. I know they're big out there. It's a decent amount of food trucks around this area. We actually have a food truck setup in this one city around these parts. Yeah, literally they're always there, but they just rotate the trucks out.
Yeah.
I just saw the other day a food truck that apparently sells nothing but empanadas, and it's supposed to be parked around my way with enough regularity that I'm like, I had to slide over there one morning because they make breakfast stuff. They make breakfast empanadas and they make lunch and dinner type joints.
Yeah.
So I might slide over there and holler at them.
Yeah.
What's going on, man?
You
So
get some like pierogi hybrids or something in your food trucks?
indeed, no, there's already a pierogi food truck around here.
All right.
It does nothing but pierogi. There's also a mac and cheese food truck around here. There's one that only makes donuts, but they make little donuts, but they're
Oh, yeah.
amazing. So
Uh-huh.
you holler what they have, and also another venue where food trucks would settle up is during the summer. They have an event called Walnut Wednesdays down on Walnut in downtown Cleveland, and they just park around that little square down there, and you can go visit all those food trucks. So the move was go get you like your entree from wherever, but slide over, holler at the donut man, get you a little hot six little mini donuts from him, but then slide over to the ice cream truck, the East Coast custard truck.
Oh, I got you. I already know where you're going.
Boom, make yourself a little sundae vibes.
Damn.
God, it's so
That's
good,
what's
bro.
up.
I
That's what's
respect
up.
the hell out. Some good street food is it. You know what I'm saying? Of course, we got vendor. Well, not that hot dog vendors used to be the lay of the land in downtown Cleveland. They'd
Yeah.
all hold down different corners, but as the city changed the way traffic flows and just the way businesses are, you don't get to see too many hot dog guys anymore. There's one that hangs out down further up the Euclid, which is one of our main thoroughfares, by the Cleveland Clinic. So it's hilarious. Like inside the Cleveland Clinic, which is of course the second largest hospital system in the world, they only let you eat. They only sell healthy foods. Only
Okay.
get healthy options.
Yeah.
It's all diet soda and low calorie bits and this and that and the third. My man saw a niche.
Boom.
And he's on the corner right outside the Cleveland Clinic on the public sidewalk and sells hot dogs and chips and real soda, not no
Yeah.
diet shit. So
He's like, you can go get that. I'm offering options.
facts.
Like, hey, it's America. We might not have options for long, but we got them for now.
Bruh. What's your street food situation, man? Because like I said, y'all got, carts still popping out there as well as food trucks. So
So
what are
we
you getting on with?
actually have, I would say the street food scene is actually really, really strong. Like you get a lot of like night food markets, specifically themed, maybe like it might be in certain pockets in like areas where it'd be like this is all like Chinese, Korean, this is all Salvadorian, so
Mhm.
it's like it's kind of like where the cultures get to highlight their foods. So you get some real authentic stuff to some real like abstract things as well. There's like an area called I think it's Smorgasburg, LA, and it's just all that's where you get the little more like the fancier ones where it's like it's the sort of hybridized foods and whatnot.
Mhm.
Um, but the true staple out here, aside from the taco truck, is getting that Mexican street dog. Like that, when you go to like a sporting event or you go to like a concert, you walk outside and it will break a diet because it's the smell of the grilling hot dog wrapped in bacon with the peppers and onions like grilling off to the side. And then mind you, these are primarily Latino. Um, Secret note, true Latinos, they get down with mayo. And so the hot dog has mayo on it, little mayo, little mustard, little ketchup, and uh and then you throw all the condiments on there. Fuck, man, you have not lived until you've had a street dog. And it's the perfect like instead of a cocktail nightcap, this is like your like meal nightcap. This is like, yeah, we finished the night. Like we did this. And that street dog, man, is so good. And it's like $5 and it is filling as fuck. Usually hot as hell, like burn the roof of your mouth hot because it's straight up off the grill, but it fucking hits. So that's the magical street food out here. But I think at that. Let's wrap up this episode 5 of The Bear and let's slide into episode 6.
Episode 6, Ceres. It's written by Karen Schetina and Rene Gube. Catherine wrote on a couple of shorts and on the Chucky TV series. Renee wrote on Superstore, Craziest Girlfriend, and Ground Floor. Once again, we're directed by Miss Joanna Callow. Episode general overall summary is the slow march of progress around the neighborhood has Richie in his feelings. Sugar and Carmi fight again, but this time over missing paperwork. And let's get to it. We start in a home kitchen, hearing an unfamiliar voice sharing a story while cooking. And we find out this is a flashback, and that unfamiliar voice was Michael, their brother. He's sharing a story about him and Richie after a late night out and into the morning meeting Bill Murray. And then they flash forward, and Richie sharing that same story on a date.
Well, hold up. Before we get there, there's some key components. So you can see what's the brother Michael? Is that his
Michael,
name?
yeah.
Michael is like how Carmi holds court. You see that he got it from Michael. Michael's
Yes.
holding court. He's telling the story. He's orchestrating. He's like, you do this, you do that. Like he's getting everything together. They're putting together the meal, and he's telling the story about how they went out and they were just drinking all night after what was it, a hockey game. And then they went to this one place and they're like, it's fucking like 6:15 in the morning and it's packed. And that's and Richie's in there and he saw, was it the goddess of agriculture? So he's trying to set up like a voice message to himself saying, hi, you've reached Richie, the goddess of agriculture. And some fucking guy like pulls up and is like, what are you doing? And then he tells the guy like, I'm doing this because it's funny. And the guy's like, that's not funny. In this too, Sugar, the sister, tries to put raisins in the meal, which
Mom always puts raisins in there.
they were like, no, we're not putting no raisins. But it cuts now, fast forward to where now we see the story continue. And it's like, guess who it was? It was Bill Murray. And so he's hyped up to tell the story. And now he's retelling the story on the date. And the date,
to a clearly disinterested woman.
like, he could have been telling the lady on the bus stop. She did not care. And they were just disconnected. And again, it goes back to, like I mentioned in episode 5, he's still living in a particular moment. And he's like, so you want to hear the message? And she says, no, I'm good. And he's like, no, you should hear the message. And she's like, no, I'm good. And it's said in a way that's like, fuck. And then when she's like,
You
so
were at
you
a
guys
bar.
at like 6 in the morning?
6:45.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, fuck. Like,
but also, if that's what you took from that story,
yeah,
this was not going anywhere anyway.
no, yeah.
This is an exciting story about them meeting a Hall of Fame NHL player.
Yeah.
At a raucous party where other NHL players are there, Bill Murray there. So this is a celebrity get together that it turns out.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's a dope story to hear if you are to hear it.
Yeah. And what I thought about this too is I totally agree, because I was going to say they didn't have chemistry. They were never going to be on the same page. Yeah. Because yes, this story has one, it's the element of a wild night. You want to hear this fucking wild shit? Yeah. Not let's psychoanalyze who I am and what I do. You know, and this had to be some time back because it wasn't like it was last week. This is a moment in time where all the family's together and Richie's with them. So this is probably a while ago.
Yeah.
And it's like she reduced him. And to be reduced as a person is like, that hurts. Like that's a different level of pain, because it's like, you're not hearing what I'm saying. You didn't take the story for what it was. Instead, you just took a jab at me. Like, fuck. And it's just like, damn, poor Richie. He's struggling.
Exactly. And so then so we're pinging here, right? So we've gone flashback, we flash forward. Now we're flashing even further forward. Because it's just how sometimes this is a chaotic bit of direction in this situation. So now we're back in the beef. That's Richie telling Tina about how this date went down. So imagine the layers of that. One story being told to us, the listener, being told to the date, being told to now Tina. And Tina's basically like, yeah, I'm listening, baby. I'm listening. Keep telling your story. And
but it really is like a parent to a child, where it's like,
it really was.
Like,
yes.
She is giving him her divided attention.
Yes. Yeah. Richie calls his data puta, which is of course much to Tina's amusement.
Yeah.
Uh, it's Manny. So now I know who's who. Manny's the big guy. Angel's the skinnier guy. Manny pops his head out and he's like, "Yo, listen up!" And then he immediately second guesses himself. It's like, "Yo, can I just yell?" Like
Yeah,
that?
when he turned up, he shocked himself because he was like, "Oh,
Because he definitely does not do that.
no."
And so Carmen replies, "Okay, yeah, but make it worth it." So Mandy, of course, requested they remove the green tape off the containers because once they start washing the dishes, their hands get all wet and their fingers get pruny, and so so he can't be cleaning up the containers. So it's just like that's so funny to me that this dude can just one, like I said, otherwise a quiet man who does not speak to anything,
Mm-hmm.
but this
Yeah.
time was like, look, if you ain't getting this tape off these motherfucking containers, man, my damn pruny fingers.
Takes you 2 seconds.
Hell yeah, that's the real. It's like take you 2 seconds to do that before it get back to us.
Uh-huh.
Because then when our fingers get all pruny, we can't fuck with it.
But you know what? He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
For sure. That's just. But they've only recently started using that style of container. They've only recently started using tape in this manner and so forth and so on. So it's just like it's processes that have to be integrated into their new flow.
Yeah.
So they had to have it explained to them. Hey, bruh, do this, not that. So I respect the hell out of my man Manny for getting foods right. Sid, of course, excitedly wants to tell Carmi about her recipe idea. The aforementioned cola braised short rib. And Carmi's like, not right now, Sid. Basically, again, another person with divided attention. And it's like, she's excited, but he's like, look, let me get you right quick. This was going on right now. We are, what did he say? He says, I know everything about you because I talked to all your employees before I hired you.
Yeah. And she's like, why would you do that?
He goes, because you're good. What did he say? Because
basically he says like, you're too good to be here.
You're good.
Why
and
do you
this
know
place
why
is
you
not.
want to be here?
And you go, this place is, you're good and this place is not. And he basically he tells her that what she is green and impatient.
Mm-hmm. And I think she hit her with some like positives first, like you got this, you got that, but this is these are your flaws.
Yeah. And where I wrote it down. Okay, he says, we've gotten to a place where this restaurant is running okay. You know what I'm saying? And basically explains how that means he does not want to introduce shit that's going to fuck up that little bit of piece that they've just started to build up.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like literally just as the words leave Carmi's mouth saying, you know what I'm saying, I want to keep it just a little bit chill. We hear, God damn it, Carmi.
Yeah, like right after.
Coming from the back door. Yeah.
Yes.
And of course the door opens up and it's Sugar standing there and she's like, I need to get, the IRS is no, this restaurant hasn't paid taxes in 5 years.
Yeah. Well,
the IRS
she hits him with, did you get something? And he's like, or something like that. And he's like, what are you talking about? Oh, well, let me tell you something. And so she starts breaking him down. There's a little organization called the IRS.
The IRS. Yeah. And so she explains how that because she's a co-signer of this business, they can take her house. My man says, don't co-sign for a drug addict.
Yes. Like
that should have got a Pete dark. Like that's dark.
That was an unnecessary comment.
No, it was super necessary because you ain't gonna be approaching me on some motherfucking whack shit because you did this. I didn't tell you to co-sign out for a drug addict. You decided to do it when I wasn't even around and you wouldn't even let me come back to work in this restaurant or visit or take my calls. That's on you. That's real. And sometimes you got to check fools at the door. And in this case, he had to let her know because she was trying to.
You got to pop out
and show him for real. Oh shit, I wrote it down. Okay, so of course Richie slides in the frame and asks, "Who sees in your house, Suge?" To which Nat responds, "The IRS, Rich." To which Richie responds, "Tag shit. Yikes." To which both Carmi and Nat respond simultaneously, "You're yikes." Stupid.
It's they could it's these little things that they do that are so childish.
That's
Your
exactly it.
yikes. Say Mate. Like
God, it's like little
you,
fucking kids,
you
man.
guys have no business running a business.
For real.
What the fuck are you guys doing? So when but it's also hilarious. The writing here knows how to break the tension.
Yes.
Your yikes.
So dumb.
But it's appropriate. Like, yeah, that works.
But they both say it too, which
Yeah.
means they probably have said it as kids or something like that, as like a family thing.
Yeah.
So
Or just it's that intuitiveness that they have with each other. Like,
yeah, yeah.
that's what we're gonna say.
So of course, Suge and Carmi go off to go find these go to the office to go try to dig this paperwork up, and start going back and forth on each other. But at that same time, Richie steps outside to go smoke, and he notices the local bar across the way there has a for lease sign up, and so again we're doing some setup work here. So then we go back in the restaurant, and Sweeps notices that Mark has been sleeping in the damn beef. Like, hey man, look, when I was trying out, no, when I was playing on the Cubs farm team, I found lots of ways they wouldn't trying to put me up, or when I was trying out for the Cubs, they were not trying to put me up in places. So I found I worked out lots of ways to sleep not at home. Basically, is what he's explaining to Marcus.
He's like, Marcus is like, what are you talking about?
No, I'm
and
not
he kind of
homeless.
backs off. Yeah, and he's like, with this nest, and so he kind of gets it. But the start of the conversation too, which is something we've talked about, like I think I might have mentioned it here, but definitely like on Cadillac, is like, you good? Yeah, I'm good. You good? The subtlety of you good.
Yeah,
How?
because it matters. Because it could be you good, and it's a tone, right? You hear that, you're like, oh, you're okay. You good could be like a problem.
Yeah, because Sweeps, his you good was, are you okay?
Yeah.
Like everything all right? Whereas Marcus's response was, why the fuck you asking me? Like he had a little more aggressive in his tone in his you good. And so it's like you get to see like a little feeling, behind the scenes. And so it's like, it was just nice to see that interaction. But then when he just is like, ah, shit, fuck it. Okay, what's up with the nest right here? And so he fully just like pulls it out and he's like, oh, I've just been sleeping here because I'm working on, trying to get this right, save time.
Cut down on my commute so I can, because I've almost got this donor recipe cracked. And what did he say to him? He goes something like,
well, don't be cutting down on those showers or something like that.
Yeah. Try a shower. He goes, I don't smell that bad. And he smells himself. And he goes, wait, you tried out for the Cubs? Because just just lore. You getting these little lore dumps that you are unaware of that you're getting. Is like, oh yeah, Sweeps knows who Minnie Minosa's stats from the top of his head because Sweeps has played baseball at a professional level.
Yeah. So he's like, you play for the Cubs? Like it just. Hold on, let's back this whole thing up. And I like how they leave it there. We do not address it.
Nope. You get no more. If it was explained, it was explained off camera, and it's so dope. And then like this is fun to me. This one I want you to watch this, people. You cut to the front of the house, and it's just Richie kind of standing there, 1,000 yards staring, and Sid standing right next to him. And the way they framed this shot is just so beautiful.
Oh, it really is.
And they kind of, Sid just checks in, basically. You know what I'm saying? You remember Sid and Richie are not the best of friends, but when they went to go back caulking that episode, they kind of became like, they came to a detente, if you will. You know what I'm saying? They were like, look, she understands. I think she fully understands Richie actually has a soft side that he keeps hidden away from everybody else.
Yeah. And this is a parallel to the previous scene as well.
Yeah. So basically, we get them to stand next to each other, and Richie, like I said, who in my notes I wrote looks despondent, is like he thinks the beef in the neighborhood are changing too much, and that as he describes it, it's a delicate ecosystem held together by shared history, love, and respect. And he thinks that's changing all at once and too much, which is, sure, that's what's happening. But what Richie is actually telling you is that my best friend died.
Yeah.
This restaurant that I was running with him now is run by somebody else, to somebody else's, in a different way than I know how to run it. I am feeling a bit out of sorts in all of this.
Yeah.
And it's so sad to see once you start putting, the piece together that, oh man, Richie is really fucked up off this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That date just, of course he's thinking about Michael. And he's sharing stories about his best friend who's no longer with us. And that lady is just like disrespecting that ideal. And so then you as you watch the show, you'll start, putting all those together.
Yeah. You realize that he is traveling with so much unpacked baggage. Yeah. And he does not know where to start. He doesn't know what to put in the hamper and what to put in the drawer. He's just like, this is a pile of shit. I don't know what the fuck to do. He's stuck.
Exactly. So he starts sharing the story, another Michael story, which is about the statue of Ceres, which is the namesake of the episode, as you know, which sits atop the building for the Board of Trade. And as he's working through that story, and this is such a wild scene. Let me tell you something. If you headphones or surround sound is how you want to get to this scene, because out of nowhere, bullets start flying. Well, you start hearing gunshots. How about that? And they hit the window of the beef. They don't pierce the window of the beef because, of course, it's a restaurant in Chicago. They got bulletproof glass. You must. Yeah. It's simply a must. So, you're screaming and whatever. And everybody's fine. They duck, and it's like, everybody good? Everybody good? And I'm like, yeah, we good. Because of course they're good. I mean, because look, I got bulletproof glass for a reason. It's because sometimes bullets fly.
Yeah. Just this. Like, we're okay.
Richie steps outside the beef. He walks down the block just a little bit to where we see a little band of I'm going to call them neighborhood toughs.
Yes.
He basically asks, you guys see who shot up my shit? He goes, nah, sound like a little 22, like a little marble or something. And it's like, what the fuck? Yeah. And Richie's basically like, hey man, not to be whatever, bro. But I asked y'all not to be so close to my restaurant, smoking and ganging. Yeah. And he's like, well, they
it's not
dangerous over there. It's not safe over there. He goes, they closed it down. They're building a fucking Sweet Greens. Like, what? And Sweet Greens is not everywhere, but it is kind of a pretty. It's Sweet Greens on one side of the, I think the Mississippi, and it's something else on the other side. It's Tender Greens on one side of the, I think the Rockies, and Sweet Greens on the one side of it.
Yeah, so. I've actually been meaning to look this up because I'm like, I don't know what it is. Oh damn, we got it. We got a Sweet Greens here.
I know. Yeah, it's out west.
Bitch, what? What is you?
It's basically Chipotle of salad.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah, it looks like you make salads here.
Again, I've watched a lot of Doughboys. Watched and listened to a lot of Doughboys, y'all. So your boy knows his chain restaurant.
Never heard of it. I mean, talk to me about some sweet tomato fucking R.I.P. soup plantation though. Damn, the goat.
That shit was called Soup Plantation. Fuck that place.
I mean, still good.
No, you could have delicious soups, but you ain't have to call it a plantation, my guy. You did not. You chose that path. But yeah, Sweet Greens / Tender Greens. If you got a Tender Greens around your way, trust me, it's the same. It's the same thing as Sweet Greens, which is just around the way somewhere else. So that's an interesting little thing that your boy knows. I'm leaving my scroll my notes here. Okay, yeah. So they basically like, hey, don't call the cops, and he looks so offended. Like, do you know the fuck I am? I would never call the cops on y'all. Come on, bro. And then of course you basically just say, hey, bro, look, you can kind of hang around here, but you know what I'm saying, don't scare my customers. Don't be whatever. Don't be fucking up, and we can be cool. And he's like, okay, yeah, that's fine. Don't be fighting and don't be on some bullshit.
And I think she's telling him too, like, you should close. She's like, you're literally sweeping up glass. And
see there, that's exactly where I was getting to. This is Richie talking to the street toughs. Then we cut back to the beef. See, because remember the one big street guy was like talking to Richie and told him don't call the police, and he's like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's when they set the parameters. And I've never heard this response to this statement. And I was like, fucking, I like it. When Richie says, you dig, and the other guy goes, it's Doug.
Doug.
And I was like, wait, is that how you respond?
It
Is that,
is.
I didn't know
So,
that.
so there's a poem I read in high school that I know to this day, and then my kid knows that I know this poem, and so my kid ended up reading it in high school too.
Uh,
And it's by Langston Hughes, and it's called Motto. And
uh-huh.
it's I play it cool. I dig all jive. That's the way I stay alive. My motto as I live and learn is dig and be dug in return.
Yeah.
And so the response to dig is always dug.
Yeah,
So
and I didn't know that. Like I just always hear you dig, yeah, that's cool. Or yeah,
yeah,
like it's usually a response like that that I've heard. When he
yeah.
said Doug, I was like, get the fuck out.
I love it. I love it. That's dope. That's dope that you picked up on that now. Now you know.
Now
And
I
knowing's
know.
half the battle.
I've been dying for someone to say you dig. I'm like, somebody.
Yeah,
I'm out here scratching my neck like fiending. I need someone to say you dig and I can respond with Doug.
yeah. So then we come back to the beef.
Yeah.
And Sugar's like, "Are you going to call the cops?" The entire staff of the restaurant I was like, "No, because
Yeah.
no,
Like in unison.
no, we don't call one times for things like
Yeah.
this there."
Mm-mm.
And
For what? What are they gonna do?
oh, so okay, so I actually I said what I said about Carmi too soon in the episode.
Yeah,
She
it's
says,
later.
I'm gonna lose my house." And in the realest response ever, as my notes say, Carmi says, don't co-sign for a drug addict."
Mhm.
And that look on Sugar's face is so taken aback. And then it goes from taken aback to this motherfucker.
Yeah.
So Carmi
Mhm.
walks out instead of walks out instead of fighting, because you know what I'm saying, he walks away from, because he knows what Sugar about to be. He
Yeah.
just walks out, finds Richie in the alley smoking, and he sees a burn on Carmi's arm, and he's like, "Oh, hey man." So this begins a conversation between Richie
Yeah, because
and
he's like, oh,
Carmi.
you get that from an oven?
And he's like, "Nah, man, we I had to break up a fight between the facts and some other guy." And Richie shares how his kid thinks his last name is Bad News.
Yeah, this shit hurts.
It does. It again. It's a lot of times I go through it. I'm like, damn, I feel so bad for this man.
Hmm.
Because his ex has his name in her phone as Richie Bad News because she thinks he's contagious because he only calls with bad news.
Yeah.
Bullshit. That also is a foreshadow.
Yeah.
I'll take you. If I
Mhm.
can, if I remember to write it down in my notes when we talk about that episode, I'll bring it back around. Marks, of course, is continuing to plug away at his donuts before we cut to Tina opening the door and the day's service beginning.
Mhm.
Richie goes from sad. It's transfixing how again Evan Moss Baccarat, a fantastic actor who just all of a sudden he goes from like sad
Mhm.
Richie Bad News to, oh shit, it's the man with the golden dick.
Yeah. It's like he's the first customer, and all you see a line of people come in, and this is the response you give. But it goes to show, like, and again, I know we've said it in episode 5 to episode 6, there is so much like foreshadowing taking place. Like the way he turns on the charm, he knows you.
Yeah,
This is how we talk.
yeah.
Because the lady that's next is, so how can I help you? He shifts that fucking street shit to like, ma'am, what can I serve you today?
How
And
can I
it's
help you,
like
Tom, and so forth.
you
He knows his customers. He knows his
you
regulars.
know your customers, you know your regulars, you know how to greet the new guy and the old guy and make
Yeah,
everyone feel like an individual. So once we get down the road and we see the progression of the person, I'm not gonna say the character, the person that is Richie, it really comes to light.
yeah. That's a real. It's eventually a very full circle moment.
Yeah.
But imagine this is the beginning of that pen hitting the paper to draw the
Yeah,
circle.
but just when he says that shit, the man with the,
The
because I
man with the
want to know,
gun.
like, I want to know how.
What does that even
What is the
mean?
story? Like, you know what I mean? How did we get here? There's, there's a story in between.
Oh my gosh. We get a scene of the chefs making different components of dishes before zeroing in on Sid's cola braised short ribs
Mhm.
and risotto.
And risotto, yes.
As she's making it, as it's laid out, all the staff's walking by, getting just a bite, a bite of rib, a bite of rice, or
Well,
whatever.
because
You
she
know what
gives
I'm
it to
saying?
Tina first, and Tina is like, this,
Brava.
they have turned a corner because these
Yes.
two ladies, they were both like, fuck you.
Yeah.
And now they're like, you are my friend. Like, you're my partner. Yeah, but when
Yeah.
she hits her with the brava, but you see it in Tina's face. Like, she's tasted something delicious.
Yeah. Sid asks Carmi if he has time to try her dish, and he says he goes, "Thanks for asking." Takes a bite, says, "Tremendous, chef." So sauce is a little tight, and she's like, "Oh, you think we can roll it out on the menu?" And he's like, "No." He goes, "It's good." Yeah, no, you said it was tremendous. He goes,
It's great.
"Chef, it's not perfect."
Yeah.
And she hears it. She does not. She digs. She don't dug. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
She understands what my man Carmi's saying, but she is not happy with the results.
And in Carmi's way, though, this is the challenge of being a leader at a site.
Yes.
You have to, because he already told her early, hey, you got a couple flaws. You don't know how to fall back and you don't know how to chill out. Because he told her, we got to take our time. Because we also got to think back too. He's got a 2-week parachute. This is not the 2 weeks to make these braised short ribs. Try them, practice them, but we don't have time. If we went back to the first episode, he had to trade fucking jeans for meat. Not even the right meat. I don't got time for your braised short ribs. I just don't.
Yeah.
It's good, and we'll get there, but it's
Yeah.
not perfect. He knows what he's talking about, but she gets too eager to, and she takes offense to it.
Yes.
Because you see, like, but just put it out. It's good. And he's like, good, yes. Perfect, no.
Yeah.
We have a standard, and that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
He also doesn't break her down. He's not rude to her. He's
Not in any way, shape, or
direct.
form. The worst thing, sauce is a little tight. That's it. That's the only, critique of her dish he has.
Yeah.
What he has to tell her though is it's not ready. It's just not time yet. She takes the dish. She hands it to a customer because she has an extra plate and she don't want to go to waste. Nothing to it.
Which is a tantrum.
It could have been, but like I said, it's like, what else are you gonna do with it? Here, let me go, just give it to this dude.
Let everyone else eat it. Come around, eat some fucking short rib.
True,
that's why I'm like, this is a tantrum, because she's like, man, I don't want it in my face anymore.
Yeah, that's actually correct. Patron's like, really? Free? He goes, yeah, I had an extra dish. I had an extra plate. Thanks. So, wow. And she introduced herself. I'm Sydney. If you need anything else, come holler.
Yeah. Still professional with the customer, though.
Yeah, very. Always. We kind of flash to the office where Sugar and Carmi are just sitting there going through the docs on the floor. As they dig through, they find a bottle of pills. And Sugar, with a little time, realizes, I know I shouldn't have co-signed Michael's bullshit, because I know I shouldn't co-sign a drug dealer. But Carmi's like, I would have did the same thing. You know that. You know what I'm saying? And then they finally get to what's going on between them.
Yeah. Well, because Carmi then says, and again, this is like how they dialogue, but in a softer way, he goes, you want to fight? And that's like, do you want to talk openly? Like, because they don't really argue in this. They just communicate. Yeah. And, but it's just like, that's their phrasing for like, we're going to have honest conversation. And so it's really nice to just hear the two of them be authentic with each other, because they have that ability. Like, as much as they're like separate entities and really living two different lives, and in this moment of stress, they are starting to recognize, like, you're all I have. Yeah. Like, it's really just us. And they're both, this moment of sitting on the floor, like, this could have been another show, another scene where they are looking through old records. Old photo albums. You know what I mean? Like, they're going back through time and back through history.
Cut back to the restaurant, and Sid sees the guy. She slipped a plate, eating and seemingly enjoying the food, which kind of makes her happy. And then we just get a cut, I guess, a scene of basically the restaurant running like a top. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, okay, the beef is doing all right, y'all. Check this out. You know what I'm saying? It's unexpected. But then, of course, because it always has to be something to fuck it up.
Yes.
We hear arguing outside and see Richie running all over the restaurant, yelling for his gun.
Who took my gun? You guys move my gun?
I gotta tell you, this didn't really seem like it called for a gun.
No, it did not.
No.
It did not. I really think Richie just wanted to like pop one off in the air, like how he did when they had the video game tournament.
Yeah. So all the old gangsters we met earlier in the show are outside fighting, and Sid goes and approaches the scrum to try to figure out what the fuck is going on with these dudes. Sweeps and Tina, of course, come out running support again, like Chalk just said. That you know how different Tina and Sid's relationship is now, because she comes out to protect her baby.
Yes.
Sid introduces herself to the gangsters, and in an effort to try to figure out what's going on, and the one guy who Richie was talking to earlier, he goes, "I'm Crooked John," and the other guy, Mr. Carl.
Yeah.
So fucking good. Cut back to this organized and clean beef, and Richie is running around. Where's my gun? Did you take my gun? Did you take my gun? Second time Manny then had to yell. He's like, look, man, we didn't take your gun, bro. You know what I'm saying? Nobody took your damn gun. And it's not in these pots that we done cleaned and organized. Get the fuck out of here. Cut back outside. Sid wants to know how this can be fixed. And Mr. Cross like, it can't be fixed because he's a bitch. And then Crooked John's like, this motherfucker. And it's like, oh shit, is it about to go down? Cut back to the restaurant. Richie done ran outside because all of a sudden he kind of remembers what it is, and he goes to the truck, his car, and in a diaper box of all things is where he done put this piece at. Which is crazy when you think about that. It's like, Richie, you really, I'm not saying you are bad news, but you're a fuck up. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
So he got the heater on him, but then we cut back to the front. We see Sid handing out sandwiches.
She brokered the deal.
Having a conversation. These dudes like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Come through Tuesdays, be cool. Bring some sandwiches. We'll just talk. You know what I'm saying? A little conversation. We play it cool.
But we need some cola to wash this down.
We need a drink to wash this down. Anything you got? RC Green River. Green River is a Chicago brand of little soda. If you didn't know, it's just basically a lemon lime soda. Anything, you know, whatever. Like, I'm like, this motherfucker. We over here trying to play nice. You trying to get you like.
He's like, listen, we're in negotiations. You could say no. I'm just asking.
That's real. Sid has a handle on, basically, you know what I'm saying? And that is confusing as fuck to Richie.
Yeah. And Richie is going through it because he's the one that stops shit. He's the one who knows the neighborhood. And he does have this struggle, this power struggle with Sydney. So he's like, what the fuck? Like, I stopped the fights. How does she? So he's in his feelings big time.
The restaurant, like I said, humming, and Richie's just standing there like trying to talk to a very busy Tina, and you know what I'm saying, and he's like, Tina, he's where, like I said, she's working, it's popping, the restaurant is running, and so basically Sid comes along, hey man, you know, can you get back out front, you know what I'm saying, and she has to tell him this like multiple times before all of a sudden he just flips out and starts screaming at her, shut the fuck up, and Tina literally turns, snatches his ass up outside, pushes that motherfucker out the door.
Snatch.
Yeah, real. If you imagine just a little Latino woman snatching up a very tall Eastern European man.
She metaphorically snatched him by the neck.
Yeah.
The scruff. And it was like, you are going outside.
As he leaves the restaurant, he's smacking shit all off the sides of the cabinets, and Tina's like, I'll knock shit down.
And
I'll throw some shit at you, man. It's so
and when
stupid.
You think about like this moment, like it's like we've seen their relationship early on, so it kind of gives the impression that they're going to be outside to be like, listen, you got to just take a breath, it's going to be cool, like it's good. You think she's going to soothe him, and she hits him with life, where she's like, my game has improved 300%.
For sure.
And you're fucking it up.
Yeah, Richie is talking about how cool it used to be, basically the implication being how cool it used to be when Michael was alive. And she's like, this place is better, it's real, it's alive, and good. And Richie is literally almost in tears. And he's like, it's a delicate fucking ecosystem. And then he's like, I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna quit. And then Tina just has to look at his face. And this is a
This is
real.
the toughest fucking love.
Where you gonna go?
Mm-hmm.
And then you
He
get a quick
called
little
his fucking bluff.
for sure. You get a flashback of Mikey and Richie in the kitchen laughing, and then they just kind of let that go. And we flash back to the kitchen, and you can see Sid is popping off. The restaurant is running. Sid yelling orders. The staff is yes, chef. They everything they've been working on so far is now here. It is. We've done this. We've been talking about we're going to do it, and it's here. It is. And Carmi apologized to Sid if he came off shitty earlier. Unnecessarily, in my opinion, because he didn't come off shitty earlier. He corrected her in the way a boss should sometimes have to correct the fool. But he still wanted to make sure she didn't feel pressed.
Yeah.
Which I guess is nice on his part. Sid is like, it's all good. Carmi looking around, noticing how it's popping, you know what I'm saying?
Because what does he say to her? I don't know if it's in this moment where he says, like, I want to maintain this for as long as possible.
Yeah, he said that to her earlier when he was talking about when he explained to her what the fucking deal is.
But it's like it's that humming that it's having right now.
Yeah. Sid yells out, we got a VIP on table 9. It's Tom Skilling, who's a regular. You know what I'm saying? That's the Tom that Richie was talking to earlier, which is kind of dope that they call him a VIP because she's learning,
Yeah.
She requests a dessert drop from a very distracted Marcus, and Carmi says, where Carmi's like, what is Carmi telling? He loves the place, but they need to get it up. Okay, yeah. Guess when Carmi's like, I love this pace, but we got him saying, let's get it up, and let's keep our let's be whatever however he works it. You know what I'm saying? He's basically like this tempo. Let's keep this tempo going and so forth. He's very happy with how the restaurant is running well and smooth, and it's pretty dope. And then they just cut to Richie standing kind of at the edge of the restaurant. As I have it written here, the glow of the city lights, and then suddenly a bunch of cop cars pop up and pop them OGs who are standing outside. And so, of course, we're left to wonder, did Richie call the cops on them dudes?
Yeah.
And you promise you never get an answer, but you kind of left to think, man, Richie might have been a bitch and called the cops on them because he didn't get to fix the problem.
He needed the last laugh. And so that's really what they sort of send it off on is like, I wanted to say what I think it is. And so the illusion is really there, like, he probably did. But then at the same time, shit's happening in the neighborhood. There were gunshots.
Like that, yeah. He probably did call the cops on them. And he probably did because he might have taken what Tina said to him to heart and is like, well, you know something I can do to help this out. I can kind of shuffle the gangsters on off.
That's
There
true.
might have been a good reason for that, is what I have in my notes and in my thoughts. Can't guarantee you that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And let me give you, if I got any weight you play for me. We talked about weight you play for the Mets. We talked about if there's this is a Richie. Is there a name for Richie says, Carmi says this to Richie. Is there a name for that thing where you're afraid of something good happening because you think something bad's gonna happen? That's again, it's some sad shit going on in the show the whole time. And I get it, it's comedy, but it's some real sad shit going on all the same time. I want y'all to know that. Because
it's just continued distress.
Yeah. There's parts of this shit, there's just like they have again, I think we viewers oftentimes will overlook this shit. Their friend died. Their friend and family died. Took his life after having been addicted to drugs for a pretty long period of time. It's all actually all said and done when you get a good look at it, and that shit is going to haunt them for a very, very, very long time, and it's wild. So that was episode 6 of the Bear Man. Charlie Man, take us to the prep station, bro. I'm telling you right now, that chicken was looking real scrumptious, man.
So at the prep station, to quote Dave Chappelle, the old Dave Chappelle, not the new one. I don't want to get it confused. Chicken's always delicious. I'm just genetically predisposed, And so, that chicken, that golden crispy skin, I was like, that shit looks good. Yeah. So I'm gonna go first. Like, There's nothing like a deliciously prepped chicken. When that bitch is moist and that skin is crisp, it's like it's the contrast of like a sweet, savory, a crunch, a soft. It's all the ways you want a food to be prepped and the versatility of chicken as well. And like I said, the way that they're serving up here looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, when I think of like, oh, the like my two favorite chicken dishes, one is locally, there's a chicken spot called Louisiana Fried Chicken. And one, the crispness of the chicken, it is not overly greasy. It's got a nice crunch. It's got a good spice level and it's consistent. And the chicken, every time I've had it, has never been dry. Now, for anyone who ends up in the Southern California area, number one, if you see yourself buy a Louisiana fried chicken, know that you need to move different in that neighborhood. You need to be aware of the color palette and just act accordingly. Two, some Louisianas serve like fried fish, and some Louisianas serve Chinese. Find yourself a Louisiana fried chicken that also serves the Chinese because nothing like a two-piece meal with a side of chow mein. Mwah, fucking delish, man. Delicious. So, Louisiana fried chicken is like one of my favorites. It's one of those that just it's it feeds the soul, you know? Like it's like this shit is so good. And then the other is a chicken we make at home. My wife actually got this recipe from her boss who is of Greek background.
Mhm.
And so it's a Greek lemon chicken. And this baby is doused in lemon and garlic and butter. And so every bite is just that lemon citrus. It's the saltiness of it, but the skin, man, that's an appetizer by itself to just get that like crispiness on there, little bits of garlic on there, some seasonings. It's fucking so good. And just so, we go to like Greek restaurants and stuff like that, and every so often we'll try the Greek chickens there. And man, it's like a Greek chicken done right is a beautiful fucking thing because it's just, in a sense, to contrast the fried chicken, this dish chicken is bright, and so it's just a different taste. And it's not your regular rotisserie. It's not like, oh, it's just, you got it off the shelf type of thing, or it's just got the regular sort of Lowry's type of seasonings. This is just, it's another level. So if you can find yourself some good Greek lemon chicken, definitely learn how to make it or learn where to find it. And if you're out here in California and you got a Louisiana fried chicken, you need to go there because that chicken is on point. Now, I've been to a few and some are better than others, but if you want to go to the one that's off of, I believe it's Central and Rosecrans, that's the one. Also, it is right across the street from the Tams where the Not Like Us video and mural is located.
So you can really make that an outing and support a couple of local restaurants.
Exactly.
Just
Exactly.
just don't wear a hat.
That would probably be best. Neutral tones, tans, great, great. You know, and also a lot of yes sirs and ma'ams, please.
That's uh, just as some advice to you as a person.
Just respect the area. How about you? What are your go-to dishes?
Yeah. Oh, in the realm of chicken, I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna lay it out for you, bro. Korean fried chicken.
Oh, I'm fucking up. I still haven't had it. What's the wing place that you told me to
I'm
go
about to
to?
about to give you a couple of right now. You can
Okay.
go to either Banchan,
Okay.
who has just a couple of different flavor options, but they're both fantastic. And they're hot as balls, y'all. It's so hot, but it's so good you can't help but keep eating it. So good. Banchan is one chain. The other is BB.Q, best of the best quality chicken. Who has a CEO who has designs on trying to have more BB.Q chickens around the world than there are like McDonald's, and he might make that happen. Best of best quality chicken has multiple flavors and so forth, and they're all over the place. You know what I'm saying? They have a Gangnam style, they have a cheeseling, they have a golden original, they have all kinds of flavors and stuff like that. But it's always Korean fried chicken, which, in case you didn't know, is double fried, so it's wildly crisp and crunchy. And it also is seasoned in a way that makes the meat pop off, but then the breading, of course, pops off.
Okay.
I love them both equally.
Okay.
So if you can get the one and not the other, you are okay. You're still going to have a great experience. Korean fried chicken is always going to come with you with a little bit of radish, kind of help you cleanse your palate. Teppanyaki, which is like rice cakes, is what they describe them as, but they're really just like long, thick rice noodles. If you look at them,
Mhm.
served usually with some fish cakes and a very sometimes spicy sauce. So if you're not good with spice, you might not want to get down with that. But if you can handle spice, and not like spice, it's not hot
Yeah.
ones, but it is spicy.
Put some
If you can
flavor.
handle that, you will get down with that. It's tteokbokki is like Tetteboki or something like that. It's a
Okay.
tough spelling. But I'm telling you right now, get that. Of course, you get some kimchi on the side there. Because I'm saying that always brings up. I'm not a huge cabbage kind of guy, but kimchi and fried chicken, that radish, that tteokbokki, it's like all these things come together to make a fantastic meal.
Okay.
And highly, highly, highly recommend Bonchon, Bonchon, Chon, Bonchon, and or BB.Q. This is just the letters BB, period, Q, chicken. BB.Q stands for best of the best quality chicken. That is what that stands for. Cannot go wrong with either one of them. They just reviewed them on the most recent episode of Doughboys, BB.Q Chicken, and Golden Plate Club member, because it's that good. And it would have been Platinum Plate if their guests would have reviewed it higher. But it is what it is.
Well, you know what? I have great news for myself. One, my wife and daughter are going out of town for the weekend, which
Okay.
means that's when my son and I just get down on eating the foods we want without anyone looking down on us and
Fair.
without judgment. We
Yeah.
already have slated chopped cheese sandwiches, so those will
Nice.
be happening. But I just found that the BBQ, which I forgot about, is only like 3 miles from my house, and
Nice.
there's a Bonchon 5 miles from my house, which
That's what's
means it theoretically equidistant in two different directions. So, I will get back to you.
up. I'm telling you right now, Bonchon is going to give you full chicken pieces. So, a full chicken leg and a wing that has all the wing, not just the wing ding.
Yeah.
BB.Q is going to give you the wing dings, which
Okay.
is fine. But I
Mhm.
want you to know what you're getting into. I'm telling you right now that Bonchon get you, if you go to Bonchon first and or if you hit them both up, just get it in half. Get you half regular, get you half spicy. Make sure
Okay.
they separate what's what, change your life.
Well, so let me give you my go-to when I go to wing stops, and then you can guide me.
Okay.
I tend to really hover around the Louisiana rub.
Okay.
Like that's my go-to flavor.
Yeah. And I wonder, because basically it's like they have soy garlic, which is basically their original, and they
Mhm.
have like the spicy version of that. So it's always going to be a little sticky, a little messy.
Okay.
But BB.Q has more rub style of coatings on their
Mhm.
bird. So, but they also have some sticky, more moist ones as well. So, it's
And it
options.
doesn't mean I won't eat other flavors. For
I
sure.
get you, but I'm trying to see which one leans a little more your way. Rather it is BB.Q probably leans a little more your way. You got a little more, and you have more options.
Oh
But
yeah.
I just find Bonchon to be such a delicious. Bonchon might be popping. The homie Nick Jew will be here in town Saturday,
Mhm.
so we get to hang with Nick Jew. So it might be a Bonchon visit kind of situation. Nothing wrong with taking guests to a nice little spot.
I
So
might, we might have to zoom in over some Bonchon and be like, okay,
they're just crunching on chicken on
you
the
guys eat
Zoom
at
call.
5, I'll be eating at 2. We will eat together. Smacking on some bird.
Get you. Also, we hit up a spot when we were in Chicago, and we found a Korean chicken. It was just a Korean spot there,
Mm.
and they just happened to have chicken on the menu, and they made a mean ass chicken too. So if you already got a Korean connect, they probably already make a fine ass fried chicken. I want you to know they learn. So Korean fried chicken comes from, of course, America. Black GIs came through and was like, "Damn, I want the taste of home." And probably some black Southern dudes, but mostly black. I mean, white Southern dudes, but black dudes came through and was basically, I want some of that. I want some of my cooking from my people, and basically passed on how they made chicken. And Koreans just was like, hell yeah, y'all got something going here. Let me do a little sprinkle of what we do over
Let me put
here.
little my razzle dazzle on this.
And they made it their own.
Yeah.
So that's what's up.
Nice.
That was a delight, people.
Definitely.
I would be lying to you if I told you we'd be back next week, because I don't know. Maybe. If I can get if one, we have time and we can get our notes written up and so forth and so on, then yes, we will do this again.
To quote my excellent friend T, mayhaps.
For real, because like I said, can I call it? But we will certainly get back, try to get this back on track and get this party started. Season 3 is already out there. You probably watched it already, but I have not, and I'm not joking when I say that. Had not seen a single episode. We watched that trailer that one time, and it threw me for such a loop. Yeah, I was like, let me get through the two good things where I'm like, I know this is a good show with good things that happen. Let's let it be before I go watch this season that made me look like things is gonna be sad and in a state. Yes. And then Greg Miller comes out today on his little Greg Way thing and is like, the Bear season 3 sucks, and I'm like, fuck. So we'll see. I don't know, man.
Opinions like assholes. We'll see.
Saying everybody got a different one, but of course that's Chaffee.
That's my man T.
This has been So Chef. It's the Bear Recap Podcast. We will do it again next time. Peace.
All right. Peace.
What happened to your ass? It used to be beautiful.